Hi, another episode of Mr. Marty. I've got a neon pink shirt today, another one from Amazon. A little bit bright, but so hope you guys don't go blind watching this watching this video. Okay, so I wanted to talk about politics without really talking about politics, and I'm going to title this Mr. Marty's Politics because my politics really aren't politics, and I guess I look at it from a different way, and I just want to kind of reach out to all of you guys on both sides of issues, Democrats and Republicans, and Hillary Clinton supporters and Donald Trump supporters, and I just want to basically, in a very respectful way, talk about the politics in this country and my politics, where I'm kind of coming from, and why I don't vote. Why I don't vote. And you need to know that about me right now. I do not vote. I do not vote, and you're going to find out why. So what touched this off was yesterday. This was huge news all across the country. It sent shockwaves everywhere. Senator Susan Collins, who represents the great state of Maine, very, very progressive, very forward-looking state, so that even Republicans in that state are very progressive, very forward-looking, and I identify with that. I'm conservative on a lot of different things, but I'm also progressive on a lot of different things, and I'm independent, and I think about each issue and weigh them accordingly. But she came out with a blistering letter. I think it was to the Washington Post, or maybe it was the New York Times. I think it was the Washington Post. But it was carried on all the wire services. And she came out as a sitting Republican U.S. Senator and said, I'm not voting for Trump. I cannot support this guy. And she started listing her reasons, none of which were political. And that's what I want to talk about, politics without the politics. None of this was political. She basically said, and she had this whole laundry list. And a particular concern, of course, was the mocking of the disabled reporter, where Donald Trump imitated this guy's limited movements or jerking motions. I forget what the guy has Parkinson's or something. I forget what it is. But he had ridiculed him and mocked him, and then denied he had ever done this. So Senator Collins comes out and says, "Look, I can't support this guy. He's a Republican. He's in my own party. Yeah, we want to win in November, but here's why I can't support him." And it was this blistering indictment of this complete lack of empathy and moral values that Donald Trump has. And I was really cheering that. I was like, wow, thank goodness, someone within the Republican Party has some kind of moral character and is coming out and saying this guy is despicable. He's absolutely despicable. But here's the thing. No one on the other side's doing the same thing. And here's what I mean. Yes, Donald Trump is despicable. I would never vote for this guy in a million years. But so is his opponent. Let's take a little trip down memory lane. Now, forget this email garbage and she got somebody killed in Libya. I mean, all this nonsense that they talk. Let's talk about what's really been documented, not speculation. Let's talk about what's been documented. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 women signed sworn affidavits, which is different than just, making a statement. It's different from making a statement to a police officer or a detective. It's one level up from that. A signed sworn affidavit. You're sitting in a room with other attorneys, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and you're sitting in there, and judges, and you've got a paper in front of you, and they say, do you swear under oath that these facts are true? And you sign that. If anything in that document is not true, they prosecute you for perjury. They put you in jail for perjury because you lied under oath. So sworn affidavits are serious business. It's not someone just lightly making an accusation. Okay? 8 women, 8, came out and signed sworn affidavits saying Bill Clinton exposed himself to me, groped me, stuck his hand down my blouse, my dress, threw me across a desk, and brutally raped me. 8 women said this. apparently his wife, Mrs. Clinton, is okay with this. She was okay with this 20 years ago, and she's okay with this now. There's no problem for her, and there's no problem with Clinton supporters. They have no issues with this whatsoever. Well, people like myself who kind of think about these things, and maybe our moral compass isn't as damaged or completely shattered as someone else. Our moral compass can kind of guide us back to the firm ground of ethics and says, wait a minute. This guy is a predator. This guy is a sex offender. This guy, I mean, to be touched against your will, to have some dude, the governor of Arkansas, expose himself to you when you're in a meeting, to have the governor, hold you down on a desk and, physically penetrate you against your will. He did this. He did this. And yes, he hasn't been convicted, and the statute of limitations and on and on and on. And my point in all of this is that no one from the Clinton camp, thank goodness someone from the Republican camp has denounced Trump, but no one from the Clinton camp has come out and denounced her. And herein lies our problem, folks. Herein lies our problem. Whether their names are Trump or Clinton or Nixon or Bush or this or that, whatever. We have a problem in this country, and here's the problem. Republicans and Democrats, liberals and conservatives, they yell at each other, and they get in these knockdown to the death fights over these various political issues. Meanwhile, the people who are their standard bearers, the people who are congressmen and senators and presidential candidates or presidents, are absolutely despicable. Despicable. They're thieves, they're liars, they're rapists. They mock the disabled. They're braggarts. I mean, they're just awful people with either no moral compass or a moral compass that has been seriously compromised. And every election cycle, whether it's a congressional election or a gubernatorial election, a presidential election, every 2 to 4 years, we're told the same thing. Yes, these people are evil. These people are despicable. But you have to choose between the lesser of the two evils. You have to choose, who's less of a sexual predator, who's less of a liar, who's less of a horrible person. I mean, and it's like, no. Mr. Marty, this is Mr. Marty's politics. Mr. Marty said, I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to choose the lesser of the two evils, because if you choose the lesser of the two evils, you're still choosing evil. You're still choosing evil. And you can say, well, I chose the lesser of the two evils. I voted for Hillary and I didn't vote for, that's, in your mind, if that's the lesser of the two evils, you can say that, but you've still made a conscious choice to choose evil. I take a different path. I take a path of, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I can't control what goes on in the national or local elections, and I'm sorry. But if you want my vote, if you want me to vote, and maybe we see eye to eye on certain political issues, and maybe we want to see certain things enacted. I mean, when it comes down to, like, say, infants, toddlers, and daycare, I mean, I certainly have views. I certainly want more kids in this country to thrive and to succeed, and I certainly want more resources, diverted into, early childhood education. No question about that. But if you present me with a candidate, who's going to vote for these wonderful things that are going to help infants and toddlers, but they're absolutely despicable, and their spouse, or and they're okay with their spouses being predators, I'm sorry, I just can't do that. And to ask me to do that, to ask me to go into a voting booth and vote for these despicable, it's wrong. It's wrong. We shouldn't be asking people to lend support to people who should be occupying, prison cells, or people who should be working at car washes and not, in a presidential candidate. And I'm sorry to sound like I'm preaching or I'm on a soapbox, and I guess I am on a soapbox, even though I'm at Betty's coffee shop. I'm sort of a soapbox. But I mean, look, all I want to say in this video, and in talking about Mr. Marty's politics, is that I do have views, but my problem is any person who who say takes up my views and says, well, I'm going to carry these views to the Arizona legislature or to the Utah legislature or the Washington D.C. and get these things enacted. These people are despicable. I wouldn't want to spend 5 minutes with Hillary Clinton or her predator husband Bill or Donald Trump. These people are awful. They're awful. And so I'm here to say, let's look at this from a new paradigm. Let's look at this from a different angle. How about we go on strike? How about all of us out there, people like me, decide? Because I mean, I'm only a handful of people who basically, said, hey, you know what? I'm not voting. I'm sorry. You want my vote? I want someone with some moral character. Now, I don't need the person to be perfect. I'm not looking for a perfect candidate. I'm not looking for someone I'm just looking for someone who tells the truth. I'm looking for someone. If Mrs. Clinton years ago or even now would come out and say, I'm divorcing my husband, he is a predator, what he did to these women is absolutely awful, it's despicable, I feel for these women, I my heart is with them, I'm crying tears of sorrow for what my husband did to them, and my husband is out of the picture. If she did that, I'd vote for her. I would vote for Hillary Clinton like that. Like that, because that would show me that she has moral character. Or if Donald Trump would come out and say, hey, you know what, I was wrong to do this, instead of denying that he did it. If Donald Trump would come out and say, I was wrong to do this, and start crying, I might vote for him. If I see some type of contrition there, if I see some type of turnaround. But I don't see any of this. And this isn't new. When Richard Nixon was caught on tape using the N-word, making disparaging comments about Jews, talking about assassinating foreign leaders, he ordered the burglary of a psychiatrist's office to steal documents so that he could use them to blackmail the Democratic Party. No one was shocked at this because everyone knew Richard Nixon even before he got to the office. Everyone knew how despicable he was. But it was just like, oh well, you have to choose the lesser of the two evils. They're all bad. We're just, just pick an R or pick a D, whatever. No, there's another way. You go my way. You're like, hey, no, I'm not voting. I'm not voting until we get some people with character. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be, some type of, everything perfect. No, the person can be seriously flawed. But if they have a moral compass intact, even if they're seriously flawed, that moral compass is kind of guiding them back to the firm ground of ethics and values. And that's all I'm saying is that I'm not going to vote ever until I start seeing on the local level, on the state level, on the national level, until I start seeing men and women, lots of women of character. And folks, your religion, your sexual orientation, your race, all these things are irrelevant. I couldn't care less if that candidate is a woman, if she's an African American, if he's Hispanic, if she's Jewish. Who cares? What I want to know is, and to some extent their politics are kind of irrelevant too, because what I want to know is not where you stand on the Second Amendment, not where you stand on taxation and trade. I want to know, where are you in your moral compass? How's your moral compass? Is it intact? Or is it completely shattered? Well, anyways, this is Mr. Marty. Sorry, this is my politics. I want to see some ethics. I want to see some values. And if I don't see them, I'm sorry. I'm not voting for the candidate. I don't see that in any one of these candidates. So try to go out there and have a positive day. I am. And how am I going to have a positive day? I'm not voting for a braggart who makes fun of the handicapped. I'm not voting for a woman whose husband is a predator and she's okay with that. Not doing it. Not voting for any of these guys. Not doing it. Mr. Marty, have an awesome day. Have a positive day. And vote your conscience. Don't vote for these despicable people. Anyways, take care, my friends. Have an awesome day.